Good morning, Speaker. My question is for the Premier. A 2014 transportation study showed that the Bradford bypass poses significant risk to communities and the environment. It will pave over 17 hectares of the Holland Marsh, destroy 39 hectares of wildlife habitat, 10 hectares of provincially significant wetlands, cause groundwater contamination, and put Lake Simcoe and the Greenbelt at risk, all while increasing climate pollution by 87 million kilograms a year. Speaker, the Premier will make significant alterations to his transportation schemes to protect a golf course. So my question is will the Premier make alterations to his highway schemes that primarily benefit wealthy land speculators so that we can protect the Holland Marsh, Lake Simcoe and the Greenbelt by cancelling the Bradford bypass?
Minister of Transportation.
Mr. Speaker, and I thank the member opposite for the question. Let's be very clear. With respect to the Bradford bypass, we are not reducing environmental protections. Current and future work on the Bradford bypass will continue to be subject to all conditions under Ontario's robust environmental assessment process. The first environmental assessment was done back in 2003. And many proponents of the Bradford bypass said, we've already got an EA in place, we don't need to redo one. But our government said, no, we need to make sure that all the steps are followed, and therefore we could resume the EA process, and we are committed to seeing it through. Now, Mr. Speaker, we must alleviate congestion before it gets worse for commuters and for the environment. The member opposite knows full well the impact of congestion on our environment. That's why we're committed to getting the Bradford bypass built in an environmentally sustainable way. Thank you.
Supplementary question.
Speaker, if the government had any credibility on reducing commute times, they would take the $6 to $12 billion they're planning on putting in to the Bradford bypass and Highway 413 and increase their investment in regional transit. They would increase the amount of investment they're making in affordable housing within existing urban boundaries so people don't have to move an hour away from their work just to be able to afford to find a place to live. And in a previous answer, the minister said, oh, we want to help farmers get their product to market. Well, then we need to not pave over farmland. The 2,000 acres of farmland that the 413 will pave over, not to mention all the sprawl it is going to unleash. Speaker, will the government say yes to protecting Lake Simcoe, yes to protecting wetlands, yes to protecting prime farmland, yes to protecting all the jobs in the food and farming sector by saying no to these destructive highway projects?
Thank you. Minister of Transportation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, the member opposite talks about credibility on an environmental record. Well, I'd like to ask the member opposite why he voted against our $28.5 billion subway plan for the GTA. Why, Mr. Speaker, did the member opposite vote against our budget that funded the largest GO rail expansion in Ontario's history? Mr. Speaker, our government is committed to getting drivers off the road and to reducing GHG emissions, and we have the largest transit infrastructure plan in North America today. Our government is incredibly proud of our environment, of our record on public transit, but we also know, Mr. Speaker, how important it is to address congestion in Ontario. Previous governments did not have the will to do so, but, Mr. Speaker, we believe that it is essential to get it to improving people's quality of life, to reducing congestion times. We need to build new infrastructure, Mr. Speaker, and that's exactly what we're going to do.